Hey everybody, this is Tony UV coming to you live from VerSprite. I want to talk about data governance for a second. There's a lot of conversations that I've had over my lifetime around trying to govern data. And in today's world with everything cloud and then some of these hybrid models with cloud and on-prem, it becomes ever more difficult. With all the relationships that enterprises have with different partners and information flows, where do you even start? So I wanted to provide some practical advice that might help get things going, because oftentimes many practitioners begin with the easy part, which is the policy. What are we governing? That might be followed with some standard operating procedures, and then it just dies there. So in today's rapidly evolving data sprawl, here's some quick tips. Number one, obviously scope. What are you searching for? What is the data that you need to corral into nice protected enclaves so that it doesn't get leaked? Is it intellectual property? Is it code? Is it PHI? Is it cardholder data? Is it federal contract data? You have to define that. And I would begin by doing a list, in order of business impact. Which information is going to be the most detrimental if lost or put in the wrong hands? So once you come up with that list and you define a scope of data, you want to be able to now go into a discovery, right? And one thing I've learned in just doing, business and being in technology for, almost 27 years is you want to celebrate short milestones. You want to be able to, let's say as an example, okay, I'm after cardholder data. Let me chase that just in my cloud presence, in my SaaS models, in my infrastructure as a service, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud models, and see if there is a certain type of data there. So after we've defined scope, now we're looking to discover the data. And there's a lot of great integrated resources within certain SaaS providers that are naturally aligning with data discovery and hosting your data. One great partner that we've had at VerSprite has been Ignite. Now, in the past, we've used a little bit of everything, Dropbox and Box and et cetera, but looking at the landscape of SaaS providers for data management, one of the impressive solutions out there has definitely been Ignite, and they have actually a pretty cool tool to be able to discover what types of data are lurking within your folders in the cloud. And the great thing about their platform is that they can actually very inquisitive in terms of where is sensitive data in other cloud infrastructure. So they can reach out into a Box environment or a Dropbox environment and search for data, which makes the discovery part very, very powerful. Now, in the past, there would be different products that would run regex on endpoints, and it would take forever to find out if you have credit card data that might be on an endpoint on a spreadsheet. But there's a lot of more modern day solutions that are highly effective in finding out the type of data that you're looking for and to see if it's in violation of a data protection policy, some level of data governance policy that you might have, or not in abidance with a regulatory mandate, right, for your specific industry. So we defined scope, we've done some discovery. And again, there's plenty of discovery tools out there. I mentioned, just a native tool that's built within one of the SaaS providers around data management, secure data governance, which is Ignite. But there's everything from commercial tools that do this, DLP solutions that do this, as well as open source tools that do a lot of regex and try to crawl and find, et cetera. You got to find what's right for you, knowing that time is money. And the more time you spend trying to search for discovery tools that could work, the less likely you will to actually achieve data governance. So bear that in mind. So the last parts are going to be really the most important parts, and that's remediation. Anytime data discovery is done on a defined scope of information, you have a lot of things that are eye-opening, right? You find contracts that are sensitive that are in places that you did not want them to be. And so it allows for a couple things to happen. Number one is to evaluate your role-based access control model for your folder objects that are found, whether it be on-prem or whether they be in the cloud or in some type of data structure in the cloud in Amazon, Google, or Azure. So remediation is what we're diving into now in a step 3 model, right? Is once we found all the yuckiness of the data sprawl that exists, what do we do about it? And so it's a good time to reconcile with governance. Do we have a policy that actually says something that states that this is bad? Oftentimes security professionals find find that something is out there and we're appalled by it, but we can't reconcile it to an actual standard or policy or guideline or anything. And so it's a great opportunity to bolster governance, one. And then obviously, number two, it's a great opportunity to bolster your RBAC model. Are people having access to this particular branch of information tree that you didn't want, that you didn't think was actually permissible? So it's an important opportunity to be able to make sure that the role-based access control model is doing its job, so that only need to know applies for the branch, the subfolders that contains the sensitive information. So access control is number two. Number three is information deprecation, my favorite. You want to reduce, the easiest way to reduce information liability, data governance mishaps, is to not have the data and to be able to say, hey, do I really need this data? Is this data something that fits within my operational model? A, is this something within a branch of the enterprise that actually needs to be available to these, individuals or groups? And then C, do I even need it? Can I just, archive this data offline? Can I destroy the data? And those sort of things, obviously, you want to do in concert with the information owner, obviously, not unilaterally as a security professional, because otherwise we will continue to have that adversarial relationship with our internal customers in the enterprise. So hopefully this was some quick wins around data governance. I'm Tony UV from VerSprite signing off.